This is Heavy Conversation with Bruce and Jody, a podcast where we talk about being a big guy in today's world. I'm Bruce. And I'm Jody. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go.
Hello, Jody.
Well, hello, Bruce.
It's good to see you again.
Always good to see you.
Thank you.
And to hear you.
Yes. To be seen and heard.
Well, or just heard.
Yep.
I like to be seen and heard, yes.
Yes. Whenever I can.
So, what are we up to today?
So today we're going to talk about something that's a little tricky, and I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm still kind of working my mind around a lot of it. But I feel like it's one that we've talked, you and I have talked about. We've discussed making this an episode for a couple weeks.
How do we talk about it?
Right.
Where do we go? What angle are we going?
And so we're just kind of coming into this, and we're just sort of going with it.
Just going to do it.
Yeah. A few weeks ago, Weight Watchers introduced an app for kids, basically Weight Watchers Kids. Mm-hmm. And it is supposed to help them manage the food they eat, use their kind of points and their whole system to
Kurbo.
Yeah.
So
is it
Kurbo?
Yeah. And it has its own kind of system that's, all of this, and there's a whole thing here. There are 1,000 reasons that I don't love this, but one of the big things that I saw is when you go through the process of signing up for it, the child who's using it is they're asked at one point why they're doing it, like if it's to lose weight or if it's to make their parents happy, which is just like soul crushing and horrible.
Yeah,
like that. That sucks on so many levels. That I don't know. I felt like this was something that we should talk about a little. And I think for me, a lot of it has kind of come back to me just thinking about what it was like being a fat kid and how having these things that are sort of policing you in a weird way and saying that, you'll be better if you make these changes, if you use our app.
Yeah. I know when we first talked about it, I was like, I don't even know how I feel about giving an app. Like, I mean, I don't know a lot about the Weight Watchers program in general. I know it's something about points or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know that there needs to be a thing that's like you said, like policing it. And that thing about the reason why you want to do whatever you're joining this thing.
Right.
Like that just put a really bad taste in my mouth about like, whatever changes you want to make with your body should first and foremost be for you.
Sure. And
be for what, not to make other people happy, because that's like a never ending battle. So,
and I feel like it sets a dangerous precedent to be saying that, telling children that they're not good enough.
Well, yeah.
At whatever size they are, and that they are more valuable if they lose weight and they stick to this app that is, certainly from a business standpoint, they want to get them while they're young and then pull them in when they're adults.
Yeah.
And keep them in that ecosystem.
Yeah. Do they have like Weight Watcher kids meals?
I don't think they do that.
Okay.
I think it is just like,
you're just tracking things.
Yeah.
I didn't like log into it completely. So
it doesn't go that in depth, but it's enough that it's just the way that it's kind of leading people and telling kids, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, I mean, I remember as a kid, like, it's not like I didn't know I was a big kid. Like,
sure.
You get made fun of or harassed at school or wherever. And it's, I don't know. It just, like, I don't need another thing.
Right.
To be putting those weird connotations behind or making me feel different, even more different about my body or about food. And like,
right.
There's already so much going on when you're a kid, like your body's changing so much.
Totally.
Like, who knows, like, I don't know.
Having something that's telling you that you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a kid, that's the stuff that stays with you.
Yeah.
And like you said, I mean, if you grow up as a fat kid, you've had to deal with that and grow some kind of thick skin around it. And I've found with myself, and I've been thinking a lot about this over the last few months, just that I've gone for a long time just kind of pushing all that stuff to the side and not thinking about how I felt or what I went through or the way that people treated me as a fat kid. And now thinking more about that and about how I felt and kind of going back to that.
Well, yeah, it's important to know what your
to process it.
Your process is, because I mean, you have kids, and then it's like you don't want to put that off on them, even unbeknownst to you.
Totally,
you can do that,
and a lot of the things
your feelings about how you were as a kid, like
a lot of the things I'm remembering are just like a lot of shame around all that stuff, and the part that sucks the most about that is that I'm going back and looking at photos of when I was a kid, when I, at that age that I was having these thoughts, and I wasn't a fat kid. I mean, it wasn't like, I wasn't as big as I in my head had thought I was.
I've done the same thing. I'm like, like I was kind of chubby, but in my head I was like the blob,
Totally.
Like the way that whatever people around me, whatever made me feel, it's like I was like this disgusting thing,
It's so ingrained in culture and in people for that to be a thing. And my mom is sending me some photos for this other project that I'm doing, and she's sending me some of these pictures from when I was a kid. And so she took a couple shots of the ones that she was going to send me, and she texted them to me. I looked at it and I was just like, man, I can't believe I felt that way. So having something else that's telling you that you're not worthwhile is hard. And and it's something that even as a parent that I think a lot about. How do you talk to your kids about food, about weight, about fatness, and
or just about their bodies in general?
Yeah, totally.
Like whatever it is, like,
And I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old, and a little baby, and a little tiny baby. Yeah. And we don't police what they eat. That was kind of something that my wife and I had, agreed on early, was that wasn't going to be something that we would do. And, we kind of just let them, they manage it themselves, and they don't overeat. They eat when they're hungry, and they don't when they're not, And I mean, one of the kids is very picky about what they'll eat. And the other one is pretty much adventurous and open to whatever.
Yeah, there's always going to be the picky one.
Right. But it's not like, it's working well for us. They are happy. The food isn't it's not a negative thing. And
it's just food.
It's food. Yeah. It's food. Yeah. And, the joy and the experience of enjoying it and enjoying eating with your family and all of that is what really matters. So, it's, I don't know. And it's not like,
and I don't know. I think it's more like, I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, as a kid, my mom just, and I don't think she was really, I don't think she ever policed it. At least I didn't feel like she did.
Sure.
She just gave us healthy options.
Sure.
Like, or, whatever, I don't know. There just was never a lot of the negative stuff with food. I didn't think there was anything like that in our house. We always had what we needed, and we ate what we wanted, and
we were good to go.
And we were just good. There wasn't anything like, oh, you shouldn't be eating that, or, unless it was like my mom's favorite chips or something, that was like special for her.
Right.
But other than that, like, there was never anything like.
Yeah. I remember, as I've been thinking back about this, I remember like feeling sneaky about food, where I would have to eat something and I'd have to eat it like hidden away, or I'd get up really early before everybody else to eat so I could make my cereal and eat, kind of sneak that stuff around, and definitely felt shame around that. So, I mean, it's.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a big, like a chubby kid thing, or if it's just like a kid thing.
Yeah,
like you sneak things that maybe you're not supposed to have as many sweets or whatever.
I was doing it with regular food, like as opposed to snacks and stuff. It was, and it was me just kind of feeling shame around wanting to eat the things that I wanted to eat,
okay.
or, you know, having as much of it as I wanted or whatever. And I think that having those kind of feelings and having that shame around that stuff made me want it more, and it made it work out to where it was.
Well, yeah, because it was like the forbidden thing.
Yeah,
so it makes you want it more.
Totally. And
then it's like a vicious cycle that.
Totally.
What is that? I can't remember that loop. What it's called, but anyways. Yeah. This might get personal, but where do you think that shame or whatever came from? Like what?
I don't know. And I have been thinking about that and where it came from. And I don't know. Like I don't, a lot of that kind of stuff, I always just kind of, like I said, push off to the side. So it wasn't something that I've been thinking about that much until recently, just with our kids getting a little older and me just, with Chubster and with things that I'm writing and all of that, I've been thinking more about that stuff and kind of where does all that come from? And obviously, even if I wasn't thinking about that, this obviously stood out to me in some fashion because I started Chubster. So you don't go out and do that kind of thing if there's not something there.
It's a big move to be like, I need to talk about this.
Right.
This is something that, so obviously there's something.
So I've been trying to follow it back.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, when I think about it, my dad is a bigger guy, always has been, and
did he have any like health issues when you were younger, or anybody in your family have that you remember?
No, nothing like that. I just, we always liked our food. My mom is very small, very thin. So I don't know. It's just a weird.
In my family, there's a lot of very big people in my extended family. So there was always that like, you're going to need to, watch your health and, like blood pressure and, all that kind of stuff. Like that's something that we're going to need to be aware of, that you're genetically predisposed to be. I'm a big guy.
Sure.
I'm a tall guy, but I'm also kind of big.
Right.
So it's like, it's hereditary. So it's like something that I remember my mom saying, this is something that our family struggles with. So you're going to have to be aware of that. So it's,
right.
But it wasn't anything like,
Yeah. No, there was never any real family history of that kind of stuff. And the bigger people in my family were all blue collar workers, so they're active all day. And,
they're all my
enjoyed all their food and drink. And, totally.
Big
Midwestern.
Farmers, yeah. But they're like big people, so it's like,
right. So it was that kind of thing, and part of me is like, well, is that that was certainly something that I looked up to. A lot of that lifestyle. So maybe that was part of it. I don't know. I think that, I felt shame around it. I don't feel like, my mom and my dad got divorced when I was really young. So I lived with my mom through most of those years until I was like 13. So
maybe
my mom was never,
I feel like maybe there might be something
probably
with,
there's
something with
all of it. Yeah. But it's, but it's just one of those things where it's like when I think about how the kind of parent that I want to be, that's definitely not something that I'm not.
Well, it's good to be aware that it was an issue for you.
Sure.
So that you can hopefully not make it an issue for your kids, but
right.
Just being, and it's also aware of it is a big thing.
It is. And it's also in how you talk about fatness. Fat is not a bad word in our house, and it's a word that we use to describe ourselves, and so it is something that they can use too. They ask us questions and talk about it, and it's something that sometimes they're curious about, but mostly they don't care. And
it's just the reality.
Yeah.
They don't know they don't know dad any differently. That's just how dad is.
But we've also had to explain to them that people out in the world don't use fat the same way that we use it. Talking about somebody, oh, look at that fat lady over there, that doesn't always go over so well. Yeah. So you have to, not everybody is where we are.
Other people are, more sensitive, or
right.
don't use the same sort of language or whatever.
Yeah. So it's just such a weird thing. We should open this beer.
Okay. What? Oh, what does it say? Humming Dragon.
Yes.
India Pale Ale.
Right.
From Queens, New York.
Yes.
Does that say Lick Beer Project?
Where did
LIC?
So I
Lick
feel like
Beer Project? I don't know what that says.
I feel like I've had a beer from this.
The brewery?
Yeah, when I was in New York.
Or when you were in New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you procure this?
Magic.
Nice.
Ooh.
Oh, it looks good. Looks
Yeah. It looks like your pour.
It does. It does. I'm glad you started. I'm glad you did the first.
So I talked about it before. I don't know what it's called. Tavor.
Oh yeah, right.
There's an app where you can order a bunch of beer.
God, I can't make fun of you. Look at that.
He's got really heady beer over there.
Man, what a horrible pour.
So you get like a beer. They release a beer a day or something, and you can order it. You can order a couple cans or whatever. So I was like, oh, I want to try that. So I ordered a bunch of different ones, and I think one of the last episode was a beer that we got from, or that I got from there. So just wanted to try something different. I wanted to have something new that wasn't from Portland, since we were,
right.
Seemed like there was a lot of local beers.
A lot of Portland beer. Yep.
So yeah. So
I was just on the East Coast a couple weeks ago, and I was up in the Northeast, and their beer is it's good. It's different from this West Coast stuff.
Yeah,
it is. Their beer is like, I feel like I could definitely feel like I just got off the crab boat for the day, and I needed a good, powerful beer.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of that. Good stuff. Good stuff. It's funny how the coasts their beers are so different.
Yeah, just regionally, I think the flavor profiles are considerably different, which is kind of cool. So I thought, get something a little different. So that. Humming Dragon, and I apologize, I don't know if it's LIC Beer Project or Lick or I don't know what it is. Oh, Long Island City, New York. So it's LIC Beer Project. Sorry, I'm a little slow, everyone. So it's a 7% ABV.
Yes.
The IBU is not available.
So it's this is good. It's fruity, I want to say, without any kind of sweetness. It's kind of got that floral.
It's got fruitiness. The Citra hops in there, which I like. Simcoe and El Dorado. I don't know if I'm familiar with that one.
What's it called again? I need to put it in the Untapped.
Humming Dragon.
This
one right here in front of you.
Oh, thank you. I could look up at the can, but why do that?
Why when I could just
the power of audio?
Sorry.
Okay. I like this a lot. This is really good.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. What? But I don't have the. Oh,
I feel like this is
a really long.
This can has been out for a little while.
Yeah,
and I feel like that is maybe good. Sometimes these beers need to.
Well, it wasn't open.
It wasn't.
It got a little. It's not like crisp cold, but
right.
It's almost like one of those hazy, juicy IPA kind of feel to it.
I'm going to give this a 4.
Okay.
You know what? No, I'm going to give this a 4.25.
Oh.
Yes.
It says rated 4.14 on Untapped.
Well, there we go. I'm impressed. I am definitely a fan.
Humming Dragon's opaque golden pour and clear away all your thoughts.
I bet.
Inhale deeply its mandarin and grapefruit aromas, evidence of Citra hops. Take a sip and remain calm as notes of crisp melon and bright lime from El Dorado hops flash across the palate.
I like it.
It's very descriptive here.
Yeah, this is one that I would enjoy multiple.
Yes.
Yeah, it's...
I'll have to keep the LIC Beer Project on my radar. Or whoever from that place can just send me more.
I know. We need to start calling out some of these breweries that we're enjoying from.
I'm going to star that one.
I just noticed this tag friends thing on Untapped. And yes, which I believe you've tagged me on a few beers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm tagging you.
Oh, thank you.
There we go.
It has a fun can, too.
It does. I like this. Lick Beer Project.
I'm just going to call it Lick.
Lick Beer.
I was like, oh, I don't know.
Yep, that works. It works. Let's see.
So remember to follow along on our Untapped list of all the beers that we drink on the episodes. You can follow us. I'm taking a picture of this one.
I'd like to throw in that I have had their a beer called Coated Tiles that they also make.
Okay.
That I apparently
did you like it?
Enjoy. Yes. For me, 3 is a beer that I am okay with drinking again.
Okay.
So I normally try to save my 4s and 5s for things that blow me away.
Right.
I gave Coated Tiles a 3.7, and I did drink that in New York at the Hoxton Hotel. Ooh. Yes, in Williamsburg, because I'm fancy like that. It was good. It was good.
Sneeze.
Oh,
or not.
Oh,
I don't know.
Or not.
Anyways.
Yeah. So
very good beer.
Yes, I'm super impressed. This is. We need more of their beers. Mm-hmm. So, Lick Beer Project. This is us calling out to you with the wrong name. They're like, never.
We're never sending them anything because they said it wrong.
Block them. Yep. All right. Well, cool. Yeah. It was a good one.
Awesome.
So, I just think that, I don't know. I feel like the whole idea of an app that is managing food, managing consumption for children is just kind of a messed up idea. I don't know. I don't like the idea, but I definitely, like I said, was very turned off when I saw that. Why are you using this app? To make my parents happy? That's horrible.
Soul crushing.
And they're obviously putting that in there because this stuff is so ingrained. You need to lose some weight, or jokes about being fat, or I mean, I definitely remember as a kid family members making comments or any of that kind of stuff, or kids at school, whatever, any of that, where there were things like that, and those kind of things stay with you, and it
and they're
sucks.
Hard to get that out of your internal monologue and quiet those criticisms. They take a long time,
right,
to get those out of there. And I think even as adults, we still have to have better relationships with our bodies,
totally
have better relationships with food or what we're doing, just so like you said, I know kind of repeating ourselves, but to start those bad relationships that early,
right,
is just, it's not good.
Just being able to it's just so important with, for me with my kids. We really want to make sure that food is a positive thing for them, that that at the least it's a neutral thing, that
food is just a necessity.
Right. Everybody has to eat.
Yeah.
You eat
to live.
Right. And
I live to eat.
And enjoy it. And we try to make food fun, and we try different things. And I mean, we make all kinds of crazy healthy stuff. I shouldn't say we. My wife makes all kinds of crazy healthy stuff, where she makes some really good food. She always makes good stuff, and makes it interesting, and we're pretty adventurous in our house. So
that's good.
So we're always trying.
I think that's really important.
It
as
is.
Parents or
totally
whatever head of your household, to be adventurous.
Yes.
To even if you don't like it, that's how you develop. And my mom was very adventurous with food, I think.
Right.
And I think I got a lot of that from her. I want to try new things, and I love ethnic food. I love all this weird, quote unquote weird stuff, but I also love traditional meat and potatoes and stuff. But I love Thai food. I love Indian food. I love Mexican food. I love my parents are definitely not as adventurous with their food. So a lot of the different cuisine that I like, they aren't into. And they never that's
introduced
a Midwestern thing.
Totally.
They don't flavor ketchup is spicy. So careful with your salt and pepper. And...
Speaking of which, total side note, I've got some salsa that you need to try that came back to us from the Midwest.
Oh,
it's so good. It's so good.
Okay.
It's really good. It's spicy. It's
sweet.
No.
Is it like mango salsa or something? Or?
It is.
I like that stuff.
I'm not good at describing exactly what this is. What I will say is that it is. I'm addicted to it. Now, Shauna is like, I don't know why you like this stuff so much.
Well, more for me.
Yeah, but it was shipped to us from 1,000 miles away.
Oh, boy.
From Missouri. Just got it a couple days ago. Oh, man, it's so good. But it does have, like, the pepper seeds in it. So so you can enjoy it right then. And it's not like it hits you so hard that you're, like, burning when you eat it. That's the thing, is that it doesn't hurt you when you eat it.
Oh, okay, no.
Yeah. So, so far, so good. I'm just throwing that out there.
How many days? Or did you just get it today?
It's been about 36 hours.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Should have. Okay.
Yeah. It used to be that I would eat this stuff and it would kill me. It would just destroy my stomach.
I can't. I'm not even going to try it.
Well, you should at least come up and look at it because it's
all right. I'll probably try a little bit.
It's good. It's good.
Then regret it later.
There are a few things that I miss, from living in the Midwest. But food is really, there are different foods.
I love. We had. Now we're going to go off on a food tangent, but State Fair food.
Oh yes,
like pork chop on a stick at the Minnesota State Fair was like to die for, and like corn on the cob at the fair, Sweet Martha's cookies.
We just went to the Oregon State Fair 2 weeks ago.
The Minnesota State Fair will blow that away.
I believe it.
It is insanity.
They had fried coffee, which I'm still trying to understand how this works. Fried coffee.
My brain was just like,
if you're listening to this and you know what fried coffee is,
it like frozen
tell
and
us.
Then fried? Because they have deep fried everything at the Minnesota State Fair.
I don't know.
Like Twinkies and Snickers and all that crazy. And I think Cronuts were developed there.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're like the flaky peel apart donuts.
I got a big corn on the cob. I got a big old turkey leg. Man, I'm hungry now. And I had some ice cream. But man, the
go to the dairy bar or dairy pavilion.
It was like the women dairy farmers of Oregon or something like that. And they had this whole thing. And so you could get the ice cream or you could get a glass of buttermilk. And
No.
I know. I almost did it just because I'm like, okay. I told you, adventurous. I thought.
Well, I know my body enough to not try. Well, I know what buttermilk is. Do they have a dairy? I was going to say a Dairy Queen, but it's a Dairy Princess. And they carve the princess's likeness out of butter.
If they did, I did not see that.
They have that at the Minnesota State Fair.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got to check out your local county fair, state fair, all the good food.
I like it. I feel like we've kind of talked about what we need to talk about with this.
You got a little sidetracked off.
No, I think
having a good, healthy relationship with your body and food is really important, and going and eating the things that you like,
right?
That makes you feel good. Like, I think
don't make food the enemy, and definitely don't make having a body that is not like what you see in a magazine
the enemy.
Yeah, don't make that like the thing that you're trying to attain. And there are so many different ways that you can have a body and be healthy and whatever. And I mean, we could jump into it. We could do a deep dive into all that. I have a lot of very strong feelings about what we don't owe anybody.
Yeah,
any of that stuff. So
you owe yourself to be happy.
Right.
In the body you have,
totally
be happy with it.
Totally. So So, I mean, that's what it comes down to. And I think starting that early is important. And these apps like this are pushing against that. Totally.
I think they might have had the right intentions, and maybe, I don't know, or they're just being capitalist.
A lot of people really very much dislike Weight Watchers. I think I did it half-assedly at one point, a long time ago, and then just stopped.
I've never,
but they're really trying to change the way that they talk about weight loss and get away from that and be more about like, I don't know. They're trying to kind of fit into where we're at with things, you know, and
you can't be a weight loss company.
Love your body, but you know,
the thinner body.
Yeah. It's
whatever.
Yeah. And it's not, it's still, I feel like still the same thing probably.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for chatting about that.
We do still have our new segment that we started. Yep. So
what did we call it? What's on tap for? What's up with Bruce and Jody?
What's up with Bruce and Jody? Is
that the new segment name?
Yeah,
we should probably nail that down.
Yeah, we probably should. But this is a segment where we're talking about kind of whatever's going on with us this week or whatever's standing out, any of that kind of thing. So you want me to go?
Yes, please.
All right. So this is going to be a little bit more of a quick fire thing because I'm just kind of thinking about my week. It's been this week has been insane. It's been good and it's been busy, but so a couple things that I made mental notes about. So I'm going to jump into old man mode here.
Get off my lawn.
Yes, exactly. I have a garden.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we've talked about this on the podcast
We've talked
before.
about our gardening.
I did put some things out there. I did not do a good job of taking care of those things.
Yeah, I haven't been to my garden and I don't remember.
Man, things grew, but they have...
As they do.
Yes, but they've been eaten by everything that's out there. They've just kind of like... I did different kinds of tomatoes this year. Sucked. I did these I don't know. It hasn't been good. So I've not done a good job with any of this stuff. The broccoli I let go too long, and when you let broccoli go too long, it turns into something. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you can't let the broccoli flower.
I have Brussels sprouts that are covered in aphids.
Oh, I love Brussels sprouts.
I know, and I've got a ton of them out there. You can get rid of aphids. I know that.
Yeah.
I have
without chemicals
2 beet plants, which I'm guessing means I have 2 beets.
I was like, so there's only 2 beets?
And I did a ton of different kinds of peppers. So I did some really hot... I don't think I've told this story. So I did a bunch of different kinds of peppers.
Yeah, I remember that part.
I did some that were sweet.
Okay.
And I did some really hot ones. And then I did some that were just unique and interesting. I did one that was like a paper lantern.
Okay. So that's a pepper you eat?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did a few different kinds, and so they're taking a long time to mature. Mm-hmm. There were 2 of them that turned red, and so I picked those. Ate one; it's just perfect. It's just this, like it tastes wonderful. It's a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of heat. One of the sweet ones, I grew those for my 9-year-old because he really likes. His snacks.
The sweet. The little.
He likes to just snack on those little sweet peppers, you know, and that's what he gets home from school and just grabs some of those, and there we go. So I wanted to grow some because I thought it would be really cool to do. Mm-hmm. So one of those was ready, so I brought it in. You know, we were having dinner and all that, and I'm like, I've got this pepper for you. I was very excited because, my gardening skills this year have sucked. So I got 1 pepper so far.
You better enjoy this pepper.
Exactly. So I brought it in, and I was like, I washed it off. It's ready, and you can try it. And so he gets it. He takes a big bite out of it, starts to chew it, and he starts to go, ooh! It was not the sweet pepper.
Oh,
it was the hottest of hot peppers. Pepper. It was like... It was past like habanero because then I tried it. Oh my God. It was like, and in hindsight, looking back at it, it was one of those peppers that's all like
wrinkly.
Yes. That looks angry.
Yeah. It's like daring you to eat it.
That totally did not. It didn't even occur to me when I washed this thing, and then I handed it to him, and he just he ate half of it, and he's like, and so he took it like a champ, though. I gotta say, he took it like a champ. So of course I felt horrible about it, so I ate the other half, and
so you can both be in misery.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll be in pain with you, but So that's basically. Just thinking about other things. So my 40th birthday is coming up in a few months.
What?
And I want to go somewhere. I want to have an experience. The problem is I can't decide on what to do.
Okay.
So I'm putting it out here to the universe because I'm going to keep thinking about this.
4-0
yes.
extravaganza.
Like I'm willing to travel somewhere. I'm willing to go and do a thing. I'd love just like some ideas is kind of what I'm looking for. So I really wanted to do Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not a long flight from here and it's not super expensive from here. But my wife reminded me that we have a tiny baby and
yeah, tiny baby on a long flight.
Can't quite do that for an extended period of time. And if we go to Hawaii, we don't want to just go for like 2 days. So, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think of, I would love suggestions. It doesn't have to be going to a place. It could be an experience, a thing to do, something to try,
okay.
Whatever. And I mean, if it's a flight within the U.S., we can definitely go. We can go for a couple days and it'll be fine.
Yeah,
but we can't do a week. So, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
There's my challenge to whoever is listening.
All the listeners. Mm-hmm. All right. I was trying to listen and think of things that are going on with me as well.
Yes.
Which has been hard. I have been reading a lot.
Really?
I started a new book, which I was trying to think of what it was called. Oh, Turn the Ship Around, I think. I should have been looking it up while you were talking, but I was trying to listen.
While you're looking it up, I'll throw out something as far as media consumption. Totally random. Green Day put out a new song, and it sounds not at all like Green Day, which is, I think, is a good thing. And I've been listening to it like crazy. Like, it's not, I usually listen to a lot of like electronic-y, I don't know, or different kind of stuff. But this song has just been like the vocals don't even sound like any of this. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. So the book is, Turn the Ship Around, a true story of turning followers into leaders.
Oh.
So it's like a leadership sort of book.
Right.
It's about a submarine captain who did all this training to be the captain of a certain, I don't remember, whatever class of submarine.
Sure.
And then at the last minute, he got reassigned to a completely different class of submarines.
Whoa.
So he knew nothing really about it.
Yeah.
And so he had to pretty much learn from all of the other people on the boat.
Oh, wow.
Like how the ship ran. And so I haven't finished it all, but it's about like there's a leader follower empowerment model type leadership styles.
Interesting. So
it's about like you don't need other people to empower you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's a really good book.
That's a really interesting idea because I think, and I find that with myself, with Chubster sometimes is just like, I sometimes feel like, I don't know, like, not like I want, not like I need permission necessarily, but like having someone else around that, I don't know. I don't even know how to, it is kind of like being empowered, like waiting for someone to empower you to do something.
Yeah. So he talked about like the whatever shipmate person would tell him what they were going to do and then do it.
Right.
Instead of like waiting for him to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, because it's always like the top down, especially in like the military, it's the top down sort of thing. And then no one feels like they have any control over what's actually happening or they have any like ownership of, the boat or any pride in the boat.
Right.
So it's about empowering those people, but showing them that they can empower themselves by they know how to run the ship better than he does because he doesn't know anything about this particular boat.
Right.
So having them tell him what they're going to do because they already know how to do it. I don't know. like I said, I haven't finished it all, but
is it about empowering people to do what they
already know how to do, and
getting out of their way and allowing them to
It says the best how-to manual anywhere for managers on delegating, training, and driving flawless execution.
Well, I think it's it can be a scary idea to like cede control of something and let somebody else come in and kind of take that and hope that they are going to do it right.
Yeah.
And especially if you are doing a thing and you're steering the ship, or you've been doing a thing for a long time.
Well, and I think a lot of managers or leaders, they think that they want to feel indispensable or irreplaceable or whatever, but that doesn't do your team any justice because one day you will leave or you'll transfer or whatever. And then what do they, that doesn't show that you are a very good leader if it falls apart as soon as you leave.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Like personally, as a manager, I want my team to run even when I'm not there. And I don't have to worry about, I was going to say the ship sinking or whatever it is. You want it. It's going to, if you empower your team and you let them take the reins, it's going to run and you don't have to worry so much.
The goal should be to build out a well-oiled machine that will work without you having to oversee every single.
So, micromanage every little thing and like, oh no,
You should talk about this again once you finish the book and just see what the takeaways are. I think that's interesting. I think letting others have some control, and it doesn't even have to be, maybe you don't manage a team or run your own business, but I think there's a lot
anywhere in your life,
if,
even if it's giving them the illusion of choice or control, like you get to do this, or these are the things you can do, and let them take ownership of it and let them take.
People want that.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just selling clothes. I'm not captaining a nuclear submarine
yet,
but it's thank you very much. But it's the same sort of concepts. I don't want to be doing it all.
Makes sense.
I got enough to do.
You got enough.
All right. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Jody. We've done it.
Yes. So please share our episode with your friends and maybe your foes.
Yes. Tell your enemies about the podcast.
Yep. They'll love you even more.
Yep.
All right.
Until next time.
Ahoy, mateys. Is that goodbye?
It is.
Bye.
Baby.
Thanks for listening to Heavy Conversation. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.